Besides like the SoundCloud approach,
Mm-hmm.
releasing one song per week,
Yeah.
what else were you doing to get people's attention?
Literally that. Just that.
Just that.
Just that.
Did you approach any artists or like any
No.
labels to pitch
No.
yourself?
No. I didn't do. That's the thing with me. That's what I pride myself on. Is that what you see is what you get. There was no fake industry bullshit going on behind the scenes where it's like, damn, like, how'd you just get popping like that? Like, you must have had. Nah. I was sitting in the basement with no industry people on my phone, dropping a song a week from the basement and going to sleep and waking up and hoping it had a million plays. And it didn't, and then finally it started getting a million plays after about fucking 50 weeks in a row. That's it. There was no facade. There was no bullshit. It was literally just consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We interview a lot of people from Atlanta, and a lot of times, to me at least, when I talk to them, it seems like Atlanta is so small, the music scene.
Yeah.
They all know each other, and like
Right.
a lot of times of them getting on is because they had a cosign from this person to that person.
Right.
Did you know anybody?
No. I
Any,
knew
like-
no one. Like, literally no one. That's the thing. Like, when I say I knew no one, it's like I didn't know anyone. I'm not one of these people who had like, ooh, I got this crazy industry connection. I got this. I know him. My dad went to school with this label guy. I didn't know no one. I wasn't on the scene in Atlanta. I didn't know shit. I didn't know anyone to be on the scene with. I was sitting in my house in my boy's basement making songs, uploading them. That's what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you perform any shows?
Yeah, I would be doing like, we would go up to like the colleges and do shows at fraternity basements, like a bunch of drunk kids and shit. And like we would try and throw our own show in the city at like, you know, like the Masquerade and shit like that. But I mean, like 4 people were showing up, 20 people would be showing up. So that's why, like, that's the other thing why I appreciate this shit so much, is because now I go to Atlanta and I do shows at the same venues that I had 4 people coming to, and now they're sold out and it's 1,000 people, and you know, it's dope.
You had any awkward experiences at those performances? As
No,
the
that's
ones
the thing. Like,
before?
I'm just not an awkward person, so that's the thing. Like, there'd be 4 people in the crowd, I'd be lit. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I was turned up. So yeah, I didn't give a fuck.
Now, how was your first experience opening up your first big show? How did that make you feel inside?
My first big show that I opened up for, I'm trying to think what it was. My first time ever on stage was supposed to be like a big show, because it was at the Tabernacle, and like my boy was throwing these events in the city where like they were called like round 2, round 3, round 4, whatever. And so it was supposed to be super turned up. It was supposed to be like a sold out 2,500 people shit. But got on stage and there was like 100 people there, so it wasn't anything. But I think your instincts take over. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd be surprised what you're actually able to do once you're like forced to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you're thrown in the fire, you'd be surprised what, like, you know, what instincts and adrenaline can do for you.
Right, right. I mean, there's no gimmicks. It seems like you're not the gimmick type.
No, not at all. I hate that. Hate that.
And Russ, is that your name, or how
Yeah.
did that come?
Yeah, that's my
And
name.
you
No
didn't
superhero names I'm hiding behind. That's my name.
Did anybody try to give you like W something else?
No, not at all. But it's
No?
funny, like when I was first making beats, I was going by DJ Ripley, even though I was not
What?
DJing at all. It's just like, but it was just like, I was the kid who no one thought I would be making beats. So it was like, believe it or not, like super whack, but also super epic, because the message was
Where did
always-
that come from?
the Ripley's Believe It or Not shit. Remember the show Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Yeah. And that just came
Yeah,
out
that
of
was
nowhere. You were just like, let me just call myself that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it was cool.
So,
Yeah.
so how did your deal with Columbia come about? And I want to know, you've been dubbed the DIY pioneer. So like, let's
Yes.
talk about that.
The deal with Columbia came about because I was putting out hella shit and I was selling out tours and I was charting on iTunes, and there was like certain like tastemakers or whatever, like Kylie Jenners of the world, like playing the music on their Snapchat and shit like that. So, you know, all the labels were reaching out. And I just didn't want to sign with the label till I had leverage, right? So like, I was like, cool, y'all can reach out, but I'm not talking to y'all right now because I want to go I want to go sell out my own tours. I want to I want to prove to myself as much shit as I can, so that when I do get with a label, I'm not attributing any of my success to them other than what I should be attributing their shit to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make sure that, like, nah, the reason why I'm selling out tours is because I'm selling out tours. The reason why my songs have millions of plays is because I'm getting millions of plays. Like, these people drop one song and go get with the label, and it's like, all right, but like, you think that the reason why you're doing anything is because of a label. You don't have any clear idea of how much power you actually have. You know what I mean? So I just waited till I got leverage, and then I talked to all the labels, and I went with Columbia because it just felt right, intuition.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's go back to the part where you were talking about, you know, Kylie Jenner's, the Kylie Jenners, you know, playing your music.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel seeing celebrities react to your music?
Super cool. I got a lot of cool points with my little sister with that. Yeah.
I mean, you had a co-sign from Kylie. Your DMs were popping. Must have been.
Yeah, it was cool. It was definitely fresh. Shout out to Kylie.
Right.
Low-key one of the best A&Rs in the game.
For the label situation, a lot of artists these days, they claim to be independent, or they are independent, and you have like, I mean, you talked about it.
Yeah.
And you kind of exposed some people.
Right.
Well, you didn't expose anyone necessarily, but talk about that.
I be just shitting on these people so much. I mean, like, the just reality, right, is that when it's like playing basketball in high school or playing sports in high school, and you know you're more talented than the other kid who's starting, but you also know that his dad is giving the most money to the fundraiser, or his dad is best friends with the coach, and they went to school together. So you're not gonna start, not because you're not better, but because of, like, politics shit. So my whole shit was, once I got behind the scenes, like, once you get behind the closed doors of the industry and you start really seeing, like, I was like, when I was talking with labels, they would be telling me about artists that have been signed to them for 7 months and still haven't said anything, and are still, like, telling their fans that they're independent. And, like, number one, you're lying to your fans. Number two, you're trying to say that you did what the fuck I did. It's like, I've used the analogy before, but it's like, it's the army vets who see people wearing fake army uniforms and they snap, because it's like, you don't get to wear that shit because you didn't actually do that. So stop fucking saying that you did what I did, because you didn't. And you're insulting the people who are actually doing it 100% independent. That's just my whole shit with that.
Yeah, and as far as being independent, you have, like, it's really hard for someone who's independent to, like, get Grammy nods and shit like that. So how did you feel seeing Chance get recognition at this year's Grammys?
It was dope.
Yeah. Do you see that happening for you?
Yeah.
I mean, aside from you being signed.
I'm winning the most Grammys of all time, 100%.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the thing. People will get mad that I'll say some shit like that, but it's like, am I not supposed to fuck with myself? Am I not supposed to want to be number one? You know what I'm saying? So I don't give a fuck. I'm getting the most fucking Grammys, period.
Yeah. You're very competitive, it seems.
I'm competitive with myself. I don't give a fuck what other people are doing. I'm competitive with myself. I'm trying to always outdo my last song. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to beat what I think is the best in my head.